difficult, especially as a younger person, only being 31 at the time. But even when I was 28, you're trying to overcome so many different obstacles, and you're talking to people's parents saying, "I can take care of your son," when they look at you like you're their son as well. So I think it's been a lot more difficult than I thought it would be when I first started out. But at the same time, every year and almost every day, it just gets easier because you become a little more mature and a little more developed in the process.
Right. How have you overcome that barrier of your youth? Like you said, when you go into these homes and these parents looking at you like you're just like a couple years older. How have you overcome that? Put them at ease.
Well, honestly, it's just every day I get a little bit older, and luckily from year to year, I've been able to do a few more things to add to my the notches in my resume to present as a little bit more mature, a little bit more developed in terms of who I am and what I can do on behalf of their son, or as an advocate, or when you're speaking directly to the athlete. I think once you cross over the 30 year mark, you get looked at a little differently. You're 29 and you're 30, and it's a whole different universe.
Right. Because I kind of compare. I would think of being an agent is like being a coach recruiting a kid out of high school. You're going to the parents, you're telling them what you can do for them, and basically you're going to kind of help guide them through their life for the next 5, 6, 7 years. So when you step away from the credentials of your resume and you have to go to personality, what qualities do you have that come across very well with parents?
Well, just piggybacking off of your question, I like to think that the relationship will be much longer lasting than the 6 or 7 years that they're actively playing. And I think that's one of the things that comes across in my presentation, that I'm not looking to represent you while you're an active player. I'm looking to help you build your career for the rest of your life, and the foundation of that is going to be your sports activities. But I think, one of the gifts that were given to me by God was the gift of having an admirable personality. People tend to respond to me positively, and they have, no matter what I was doing. When I was in school, I was involved in student government, and I always was able to, get elected and to win the support and the respect of my peers. And I think those personality traits just carry over into what I do now, and trying to build Revolution Sports and develop a clientele that is respectable and stands on its own 2 feet.
We know you did Andre Johnson's deal last year. Are there any other deals that you'd like to talk to us about, players that a little bit of resume stuff, if it's there at all, that you want to share with us?
Well, yeah. When I was with Steinberg and Morad, the first deal that I ever worked on, I guess, once I became a full-time agent, was the number 2 pick in the draft, and that year it was Leonard Davis. So having the opportunity to work, and there was, at that point, Dave Dunn was gone, but you had Jeff Morad and Scott Parker and Lee and myself all worked on the deal. So you got to see some of the best in the industry and how they put a deal together at that level. There's only one pick ahead, so it's a pretty sophisticated deal. And then, when you get away from the rookie drafts and the Leonard Davises and the Andre Johnsons, I was intricately involved in putting together the trade that moved Ricky Williams from the New Orleans Saints over to the Miami Dolphins. And also in a free agency arena, the free agency deal with Warwick Dunn with the Atlanta Falcons was something that I was also highly involved with once upon a time back at Steinberg and Morad. So I've been involved in all the different types of deals that can go down, your rookie deals, your veteran deals, and it's something that really doesn't ever happen very often, and it doesn't happen with a player the caliber of Ricky, and he's an interesting character just because of where he's at right now. But working on a trade like that is unique experience that most people don't ever get, and a lot of people don't have in their portfolio when they're trying to establish their credentials.